But now it's about retirement. Fewer than 20% of owners of small and medium-sized businesses actually have a lucrative retirement. After all these years of working, you've got fewer than 20% of us. That means that more than 80% of us are going to be carried out with our boots on. What the hell is that all about? So if I can affect that digit by just, a half, or even if it's just helping one person, or every one of you in this room and everyone since 2007 when the Trade-Contractors Business College started, that's huge for me, huge. Because I could have retired, from being an employee. I was working on my RRSPs and all that stuff. But there are a lot of people who go into business from an early age, and they work so hard. And then they keep lying to themselves. This is what they really want to do, really. I really want to just work myself to death. So that first one truly great thing has just morphed into another one. So I guess these fathers spent more time with their children, and now they're, that much older in their business, and it's time for them to go off. And yet, you can keep your business the whole time. You can die as a part of your business, You've got so many options. And that was one of the first contractors I ever worked with. I thought he was a lot older than he was. He was in his 50s, and I thought he was in his mid to late 60s because he was working himself to death. And in the first month that we worked together, he saw every one of his grandchildren, every one of them. And then he developed a system for how frequently he wanted to see them. But what the wake-up call was for him is that his oldest grandson had gone off to university, and he didn't even know him. Now he had all these other grandchildren who he risked not knowing. And so in that first month that we worked together, he saw every one of his grandchildren, had them all over, for a Sunday dinner or something like that. And then he developed a system for seeing them. And over the next several months that we worked together, this was before the Trade-Contractors Business College was created. It had a lot to do with working with him that brought this into play. And so then he had options. He didn't have to just work himself to death. Or when he got too tired and too exhausted and too broken down, which he was already getting to be. I mean, the way he walked and everything, it was... And in fact, that fellow took Matol for a cold. He'd had a cold a second time in a short period that we've been coaching. And I asked him about his, about how frequently he gets sick and that sort of thing. So I recommended that he take Matol. And the next time we saw each other, he said that he had had tennis elbow for many years because he was a mason. And so that repetitive action with his arm. And so he showed me, he said, I've got this sack of fluid here on my elbow, but my arm is perfect. It's never felt this good. I don't remember it ever feeling this good. So do you think I should pierce this? And I said, I wouldn't. It was just like that day. And I said, I'd just leave it for a while and see what happens. Wait until, 2 or 3 days, and if you have to go to the doctor or something. No, by the next day, that fluid had all gone wherever, right? And it was gone. But whatever it was that was bothering his elbow, it had just came out into this sack and it was gone. And then another thing, the same man, he had heavy leg or something. It's in the booklet that I wrote. I can't remember. Something like heavy leg anyway. But he got it when he was a teenager. And he had seen doctors for years, and there was nothing you could do about it. That's why he walked so slowly. And he said that day that he had this thing with his elbow, he said, my legs are so light, like I feel like I could just be running all the time. And that was just from Matol. So whatever it was clogged up in his body, it was just releasing. But the thing is that within a few months, that guy said, look, I've got the best teams I've ever had. Well, before that, he was spending so much of his time focusing on the wrong things that these people were just flying by the seat of their pants, wondering what the hell they're supposed to do for them. So that's the thing, is that you've got options for retirement. And I know that he's still operating his business today, but differently, much differently, because he doesn't want to quit. So what he does today is he builds a house for himself, lives in it, and then he builds another one and sells this one, moves into this one, and so he's still, you know, generating income. He's still doing what he loves to do. He's still got those great people working with him, but he's just not going as flat out as he used to 10 years ago. Okay, so as I say, with these 3 questions, I want you to just take a look at it, and why wouldn't you step into the answers that you put down there right now?